What's up, guys? Luca here. Luca Teal, yes, the Ashen one, the Ashen Lucario, the Ashen Luca. I'm here with another episode of the show. And today we will be discussing a variety of topics. Um, one of which is something that is near and dear to my heart because as a longtime Destiny, is it past the minute mark yet? Can I curse? No, I don't think so. Let's just say as a longtime Destiny addict, that it was, like this news coming out. This news coming out, it hurts my heart a little bit. It hurts my heart a little bit. And I know it hurts yours a little bit too, Singer, considering you two were a Destiny fanatic. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to happen. We're going to talk about it's just a brief thing, but Xbox no longer offering a Game Pass. What is it for free for their employees? We're going to discuss that. We're going to talk about Slomo's going to talk about his Alan Wake 2 impressions because I'm not playing that snooze fest,
I'm not
respectfully.
playing it either.
Respectfully. And, what else? Yeah, wait, what else? Oh, and then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 looking a little spooky. And then for some reason, ponies want to blame this on Xbox, even though the game was produced before Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard. I mean, I'm
Well,
telling
no,
you, man.
hang on, Luca, hang on. See, the thing is,
Yes?
they can't get praise for Starfield because they had nothing to do with it, right? But you can
Mm.
blame them because they had something to do with Call of Duty, apparently. I don't know how
Okay.
the logic works. I mean,
Mm. Guess both ways can apply, eh?
I guess.
So, all right, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and discuss all those things. What's up, Lionel? What's up, Brisky? What's up, TZ? What's good, baby? What's up, Undisputed King Nate? What's goody? Mm. Yeah, I actually started. Liza P. That shit's kind of fire, dude. At first, I was like, but then I got to that part where you can practice on the dummy, right? Right before the first big boss, like the first big boss fight. I was like, okay, I kind of like this. And that boss was very simple mechanics and stuff. I'm still trying to get the guarding down, basically. I have to fucking find my elite controller, dude. I gotta find my elite controller because I don't know where it is. And because my regular controller is hurting my fingers. So I gotta find that so I can actually dive into the game properly. What's up, Black Dragon? What's up, RK? What's up, guys? All right, like let's go ahead and discuss these topics. You do have great taste in games, Lino. You really do. I do agree with that 100%. You have great taste in games. So, what's up, Leaky? You already know. You already know. Okay. So anyway, moving on from that, let's go ahead and get into it. Singer, how you doing?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. I'm doing a lot better than some people.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just going to be grateful for what I have. And, I think I'm going to say this. I think that people should try to look outside of themselves and be a little bit more appreciative of the things that they have in their life, because it could be significantly worse. So
Oh,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm feeling grateful for what I have right now. I'm feeling pretty good about that. So I'm grateful to be alive, grateful to be safe, grateful to have access to clean water and food and a warm bed and a house that I don't have to worry about getting bombed. But whatever, right? So moving on from that. But yeah, so Slow-mo was good, baby.
Yo, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Yep.
good.
All right.
What's
So
up, guys?
what's up? Let's go ahead and talk about these Bungie layoffs. So there's some new news that came out. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, new revelations about Destiny 2. Let me see. All right, is that good? Let me by Paul Tassi. Oh, not printing. Oh my gosh. All right, zoom. All right, so new revelations about Destiny 2. Because, guys, if you haven't heard, Bungie has laid off 100 people, 100 plus people from their team. And apparently the final shape is make or break. You know what I'm saying? So we heard earlier this week on Monday that Bungie's laid off a significant amount of people that we know. Well, we, as in Destiny fans, we know of them in the community, like Liana Rupert. She was the community manager. Also laid off the dude who did the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like,
Michael Salvatore.
yeah.
The thing is, he did a really good job on the soundtrack, too.
He has worked on music for Bungie all the way back, as far back as Halo. And there are some music in Halo that is iconic, that you hear the music and you know exactly what part of the game it's from. And this is music that he's created, and they laid him off too. Just
Of course,
goes to show they don't care.
It doesn't matter how long you've been with a company. If they need to get rid of you, they're gonna get rid of you, dude. That's fucking facts. That's a facts of life.
Zero loyalty.
Yeah, so which is why you shouldn't have any loyalty to a company either. At the end of the day, you are fulfilling a contract. All right, you know what I'm saying? You provide services and they give you money. So, you know, and that's all it should be to you. That's all. You're not a family, okay? And the thing that's particularly egregious about Bungie is that their PR team went ham, right? Just all this ridiculous. Wait, what did I say? Latinx at Bungie, blacks at Bungie, like all that nonsense or whatever. They do not care about diversity. All right, they don't care about accessibility. Okay, Liana Rupert's like, I made strides getting them to care about this accessibility stuff. I'm like, girl, they don't care. All right, they don't care.
No.
She bought into the propaganda, man, and it sucks. Like, I really do feel for her as well, because this concept of I'm working at such a great company that does so much, and it's just like, yeah, are you? They've already shown that they've been tone deaf, and like that article came out about the harassment and Bungie going on. Like they're just hypocrites, man. All these. Let me make it clear: all these corporate entities are all hypocrites. They don't care about you, the person. They only care about one thing and one thing only, and that's money and how it affects their bottom line. Okay, so. Layoffs. So management. Oh, so go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, as far Liana wasn't the right people. Because P. Parsons said they kept the right people. So clearly, the guy that's been doing, all 50% of the majority of your music for forever, he wasn't the right people either, or the woman that designed the Halo logo. I mean, she wasn't the right people either. So clearly, none of these people were the right people.
They weren't the right people, man. They didn't actually, the people who are still there are the ones who matter. The people they let go of, trash, basically.
Yeah,
trash.
Basically.
I mean, do you have any thoughts, Singer?
See, I rode with Bungie since the Halo. I gave Destiny a chance, Destiny 2 a chance. Then everything was okay, cool. Destiny 2, they were kind of tone deaf, and then they'd bring it back, and then they'd lose their way again. And then Lightfall happened, and then it's like, no wonder your stuff declined by 45%, because the community is finally fed up of you. Like, they've had enough. They're just quitting the game.
And it took a long time, too.
And then not only does Lightfall make or break, but if Lightfall is bad, you are going to lose so many more people than you lost with Lightfall. Like, it's going to be... because you promised this 10-year journey. And if the ending is bad, it's a wrap. Oh, it's over. I mean, Naughty Dog should cancel Bungie's game. I don't know. They should look over there.
Yeah, and there's like that pure irony there. It's just like, yeah, this multiplayer isn't good enough. Bitch, neither is yours, clearly, because you've not done anything with PvP and Destiny in freaking years, man.
Well, they can't do anything with PvP, because as soon as they touch something, they break something, and then everyone loves it, and everyone thinks it's fun, and then they come in and instantly nerf it, and get rid of it, and patch it, and then everyone's just left with the same old PvP. It's like, can't you just let people have fun in PvP?
Well, it's significantly harder to balance PvP when you have a PvE aspect and you're adding content for PvE, and you want people to have that power fantasy in PvE where, if you make the right build, or if you spec things the right way, that you can actually, run roughshod over all the PvE content. The problem is that when you have PvP and you need to have balance, you need to have fairness, or at least try to create that balance and fairness when you're allowing people to go into PvP with the builds that they've created in PvE. It's far more difficult to balance, but that's really not the reason why they haven't had PvP content. They haven't had PvP content because the people that they have for PvP have been working on Marathon. So that's where all the balance and all the work and all the map design and all that other stuff has been going. It's been going to Marathon, which, according to Escape from Tarkov content creators, if that came out today, none of them are playing it. And these are the ones that got a chance to either see it or play it for themselves. I don't know if they saw it or played it, but they saw actual gameplay at the very least. And they look like they would rather stick with Escape from Tarkov than play Marathon, which is not if you're Bungie, that's not what you want to hear, which is probably the reason why that got delayed to 2025 as well. But yeah, I'm not going to say I told you so. I'm not going to do that. Because that's just it's not the right. It's not 100 people lost their jobs. I'm not going to talk about things I've been saying about Bungie for a while. I'm just going to say that I agree with you guys that they're in for a rough next 12 months because they've delayed the final shape from February to June, but that increases the amount of pressure on the final shape to be not just good, but to be great, and so great that it can get people who are so completely done with things that aren't really about gaming when it comes to Bungie, in addition to just how the game has not been living up to expectations, period, to come back. So
this is why
just any regular expansion is not going to bring people back. You have to come with something that's going to be awesome. And now you have the added pressure of having less people to make this expansion awesome with, because you've laid people off. So good luck.
I don't know how they became an authority on multiplayer, because there are people that do it much better. I mean, Sony has a good relationship with Square. They should hit up the Final Fantasy 14 team, because they hit it every single time. They don't lose players, they only gain. And they delayed the last expansion. They delayed it. Everyone was like, cool. We know it's going to be quality. Guess what? It came out quality despite the delay. Super quality. So it's like, they were better authorities. So if you're going to really get them to manage your first party, I probably wouldn't use Bungie, because Bungie struggled to keep Destiny 2 stable. Because they had the bad expansions, then they had the good expansions, then they go make a bad one. At Lightfall, they made a bad one despite all the promises. I don't know. They're all over the place. So
yeah, I've said for a while that I kind of felt like Bungie is a very unique developer in the gaming industry, period. And I don't think they were a good fit for what Sony wanted from them. And I think they told Sony, we can do that, because they needed someone to acquire them, because they kind of saw like the writing on the wall when it comes to their ability to remain independent and be able to maintain the game in the way that it was going, as far as how much they were spending to how much they were earning. But Bungie makes the same mistakes and it says some of the same dumb stuff to their community, and makes the same mistakes in regards to content that other developers for live service games have made. The difference is that those other developers' communities abandoned the game and went on and moved on to something else. And the Destiny community, up until this year, had not abandoned Destiny. They remained there since 2014. They had been through thick and thin, sticking it out with Bungie. And finally, they broke them. Yeah, I was there too back then. I broke a while ago. But now the community overall is finally broke when it comes to no longer listening to Bungie's nonsense, and finally just being done with them and I think maybe what was really helped is this year has been really good for content for games, and it in the past I've heard people who get fed up with Destiny leave, and then they're bored playing other stuff, and they go back to that second job that's Destiny again. But this year has been like there's been something for everyone, so they really screwed up at the worst possible time. Lightfall could not have released mid at the worst possible time because it just gave the opportunity for this community of players who have devoted a lot of their gaming time to this one game instead of gaming on all the multitude of great games that have come out for years. And now they're getting caught up on their backlogs, their massive backlogs. They're playing all these great games that have come out this year. They're playing other live service games that are actually delivering. And they're like, what the heck was I doing all this time? So good luck, Bungie, with, less people. Good luck.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, the 40. Oh, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say the 45% drop off was crazy, and then everyone like refunding their pre-orders of the final shape. And there's a reason I haven't pre-ordered the final shape, because I need to see reviews of is it good. If it's good, okay. If it's not, miss me. It's at that point now with Bungie. But yeah, go ahead, Luca.
Well, I was gonna say it's like, that seasonal model was not sustainable. The people were gonna get bored eventually. It may have taken a lot longer, like a lot longer than for other developers, but people were gonna get. I got bored. And for me, Destiny was like a second job. But I enjoyed the monotony of it. I enjoyed the gameplay loop until I didn't. I enjoyed it until I didn't. Then I started getting bored. And the seasonal activities, again, it was like repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Like I stopped playing Destiny after Witch Queen. And Witch Queen was fucking awesome, right? It was
was.
awesome. It was so good. So good. I had so much fun. And I'm happy I left on a high note. I'm really happy I left on a high note because like I said, I tried to do some of the seasonal stuff. After that, I'm just like, all right, this is boring. I'm not doing it. And I dipped and I went to go not game. I definitely was not playing games. I was so I got bored with Destiny. I stopped gaming in general. So like the model was it was just never sustainable. That them get okay. Let's be clear. Forsaken was quality. I think it was really good, especially after the monstrosity, the atrocity that was the Curse of Osiris. Curse of Osiris is
Yes.
what got me to quit, and then I came back for Forsaken, and I had a great time with it. I really enjoyed it. Some people on here had some complaints about it. Some people in on the panel had some issues. I seem to recall. I do recall this. Yes. But overall, I had a great time with it, and it was enough to keep me going back for a very, very long time. And again, like I said, I didn't stop playing Destiny until after Witch Queen, right? And so, like, I say all that to say they got lucky that first time around. Because the drop off from Curse of Osiris, the fact that they were able to get people to come back, and so many people at that, pure talent, of course. Again, great storytelling, great visuals, great gameplay, right? Fun feedback loop for you know incentive to play because they changed up things with the I believe they changed up things with Lord have mercy. I cannot remember what that PvP is called, man. Like
Gambit? No.
the comp loop. They changed things up with
Oh,
that.
okay.
So it's just like, just really, really, really great stuff, man. And so for me, I don't think they're gonna be able to do it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they're going to be able to recreate that, that excitement, recreate that energy, that need to come back, especially with some of the the blunders they've had over the past couple years in terms of
Sunsetting the
PR.
guns. Oh,
Oh yeah, sunset.
soon as they did
Mhm.
that. See, I'm surprised they didn't lose more people from that, because I was annoyed when stuff like the Recluse and whatnot, and it's like these
Recluse was so
guns that
amazing. Worked hard
guns that I
for.
actually worked hard for in competitive to unlock them, and now they're useless.
Oh my
That's
god.
it. Done.
I was so close to getting Luna's How when they just were like, "You guys can buy it." Listen, I know it. Listen, I know. I know. What took you so long, Luca? What? I suck. I suck at PvP. All right, that's what took me so long. But I was close to getting it. Like I was close to earning it the right way. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
but yeah, so it's like, what they're not going to be able
I
to
was okay. Go ahead.
recreate
Go
what
ahead.
they were. They're not going to be able to recreate what they did before with I mean, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to be able to. And then with all the PR blunders with like just all the nonsense that they've been saying on social media the last couple of years as well, I'm just kind of like, man, I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go. I mean, and on one aspect, I do believe in the concept of good content will bring people back, but, like, for every single game, almost every single game, you get 1 shot and then it's over, and if you get the 2-shotter, then you're definitely not getting a 3-shot, you know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Slomo.
I was going to ask the question of, I know Vicarious Visions, and what was the other support studio that was making the expansions for them? You remember the
Lord,
name?
I do not remember. Shout out, hold on
I
1
was
second.
wondering.
Shout out to Nautical has been a member. 36 months saying, "Sorry, I can't make it, queen, stuck at work." Obviously, they didn't keep the right people if Pete Person's still there. Oh, his statement was tone deaf. Agreed. But go ahead.
Yeah, I wondered which expansions they did, but I also kind of feel like the fact that they had them to make expansions, these Activision support studios, allowed them to be able to focus solely on one expansion and make those expansions as high quality as possible. And now that they went independent and they had to split their own studio resources even further for those kind of things, I wonder if the level of quality is dropped because of that. And also just personally for me. Oh, thank you for it. Say High Moon Studios, those two. But for me personally, I was already done, but I was guaranteed to not come back when they were sunsetting weapons and then also vaulting content that you paid for. And that the second part is the most egregious in my opinion.
I
Like
agree.
I paid for that. Like why are you vaulting the content? Like it's I've never got a legit reason why you would do something like that. And especially when it's something where you didn't have a well thought out game plan for how to onboard new players without that content. So
True.
new players come in, and I mean, look, even for regular Destiny players, you take a couple of months off and you come back and you're lost. It's even worse for a brand new Destiny player. So you're not restocking your community with new players as veteran older players leave, because your onboarding process stinks and no one understands what's going on, and literally every new player has to be shepherded through everything to understand what's happening. This is actually a very similar issue that Warframe has. Even though they haven't vaulted any content, the initial phase of getting into Warframe is so overwhelming with so many different systems that people just tap out because, like, I don't get it. Either that or you go find a YouTuber who's creating an entire series of like what to do, from step one. They had to walk you through that. The sad part with Destiny is that a YouTuber couldn't even do that for you, because where do you start? Because what should have been the base game of Destiny 2 is no longer accessible, as well as the expansions that came right after that. So it's just like it was a horrible decision, but I think a decision they made based off of lack of resources. And that, yeah, all this goes into me thinking that they can't really reach those same heights they had before because they don't have the resources that they had back then.
The onboarding is really simple. You have to go to the tower, you have to find this little kiosk in the corner that's not smack bang with all bright lights on it saying, "New players, come here." No. It's just this little cubicle in the corner. and you run up to it, and then you could run through all the campaign main missions. And I'm like, so this is how you do onboarding, huh? I mean, I play Eve, and Eve onboarding is ridiculous because they give you a ship, you're in the middle of space, and they're like, right, collect minerals, do this, do that, just flood you full of mechanics. And you're like, whoa, slow down. But even that isn't as bad as this because one of my friends started playing a while ago, and he was like, so how do I access him? So I took him to the tower, and then I showed him the cubicle, and I was like, just play, click, play through. And I'm like, what is this? The onboarding process is absolutely terrible. But they obviously assume, you can find this little kiosk in the tower that's in the corner, out of the way. It's not even in the middle. Like, you actually have to go out of your way to get to it. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like, man, I don't know, dude. Like I said before, I feel like it was a slow death. A slow death, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I don't really have a lot of hope for the final shape personally. Like,
Mm-mm.
again, you can make something absolutely phenomenal, but that's not going to get everybody to come back, you know? Especially when the Destiny content creators, if they start making content on other stuff, it's a wrap, you know? I got back into Destiny like in general, but also my entire subscription feed was full of Destiny content creators. They were the only ones I watch, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like I'm still subbed to a couple of them, but I haven't subbed for most of them who keep you up to date on the daily stuff. I'm just not interested anymore because I don't play the game anymore. And again, I personally, no, I know a lot. I personally don't plan on coming back. The game has nothing for me, and it's like you guys were saying too about I I I'm so behind now that I don't even feel compelled to come back.
Hmm. My
Mhm.
problem with it is I'm not coming back because time currency. The thing is, I play better multiplayer games, and Fortnite recently um, went back to the OG, and they cracked their highest concurrent player count ever, I do believe. 'Cause everyone has come back to Fortnite now. Like, everyone is in love with it. I'm in love with it. And there's so many good games, multiplayer games like 14's going from strength to strength. I just don't have time for Destiny anymore because I got League of Legends, I got 14. So it's like, okay, at this point, I may as well just give it up and just carry on about my business. Now, if the final shape is good, I might buy it on sale and then just play through the campaign and then uninstall Destiny. And then I finish the story, you know?
I don't know.
I may as well finish the 10-year journey.
Well,
I mean,
it's not a 10-year journey for me. It was like I started playing Destiny in 2017. So
oh, okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
it's different for me. Like I don't feel
Okay,
compelled to
yeah.
see it through to the end because I came through with Destiny too. I didn't play the first. I mean, I played the first Destiny for maybe like 15 minutes. I turned that shit off. So
Oh, you came late. The glory days of the first Destiny, the Luke Cave, Galahorn, the Vault of Glass. It was that is peak Destiny, and Destiny 2 they lost their way. They should have just continued with the way Destiny 1 was, in my opinion, because it was, the raids were great, the guns were great, the exotics were great, PvP was balanced for the most part. I mean, I don't know.
okay. Well, let's talk about some. Oh, what's up, baby?
So listen, I won't be able to stay in here long, but I had to get it off my chest. That studio makes me sick. It makes me so sick. Listen, Luca, we've been going through trials and tribulations with that company for the last decade. And for them to literally pull the stuff that they pull, it's like you try to be like, okay, I love the game, I love the gameplay, I can deal with the hiccups and stuff. But the fact that they literally, once you start treating people and act like they're not human no more, and I get the whole thing about layoffs and stuff happen. It's about the way you treat people in the end, and that kind of irritates me because I always felt that that company did it the right way. but they're just like everybody else. And honestly, we kind of knew it. We just didn't want to. We just didn't want to say that was the case because, you know, the thing is, the things that you love, the things that you support, you always think the best of it. And that really irritates me to the point where I might not even buy it. I might just say, screw the chapter of this game and just never go back because I don't feel like I have investment in it no more because I haven't played as much as I usually have played. Same thing like how I know how you feel about it. I can watch a YouTube video and get the ending. I don't have to support them by giving them money. I don't know how I feel about that in general just yet. But the fact that is actually a conversation that not only I'm having with myself, but a lot of people inside the community, that is a damaging blow to a company that still has some of the best gameplay of any game that I've ever played. But that doesn't truly matter when you start treating people like crap. And then I think the tone deaf side of it also with the little our path forward message that they put on their website. When I read that, I was like, this feels like a bunch of fluff. It feels like a lot of stuff that y'all told us before. Every time you guys get in trouble, you want to rally the troops and get everybody to say, oh, the next DLC is going to be great. Guess what? 90% of the time, all the stuff you promised really doesn't come to fruition. And if it does come to fruition, why should we, like, this is the end. It's not going to get any better. And I said the same, and I had to really, truly think about this. I said when Halo Infinite got delayed, I was like, this game needs longer than a year delay because there's a lot of things that they need to fix in this game to get it to where it is. So them delaying Final Shape for 4 months or whatever they're going to delay it for, they're not going to be able to do any drastic changes to that thing to make it this overarching thing that everybody wants it to be. It's just like with Starfield. Everybody was like, oh, Starfield is going to be a better, like we're going to do all these things in Starfield. But guess what? Starfield was still the same game even with a year delay on it. You know, Halo Infinite was still a shell of the game it could have been a year after its delay. So what do we really expect Bungie to do, or what does Bungie really think they can do to make that game so much better? And think about it, Xbox had so much pressure on Starfield. Starfield was like the game that was like, oh my God, the reason that everybody was like so hyped for Starfield is because it couldn't miss. We kept telling people like Starfield can't miss.
I don't know if that's like an apt comparison because Halo launched missing content. Starfield didn't. You know
no, but Starfield still had, but think about it. Starfield had all the pressure of the world on it because Xbox didn't have no games that released out to basically make people feel like, you know, when Redfall missed, like we all know Redfall missed horribly. When that game missed, everybody pivoted over to Starfield's got to be a banger. Starfield's got to be this. If it's not a 95 Metacritic, it's a crap game. And to a lot of people, Starfield was a pretty decent game, but the perception of that game isn't that it was just a good game. It was like, oh, Starfield's a failure because it wasn't what Bethesda normally puts out as a game. And what do you think they're going to do with Final Shape? Do you really think that Final Shape is going to be able to live up to all of the hype that's going to have to be on that game? Like, they're putting so much hype. Like, this game is supposed to basically save the player base of the game. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. So I don't.
If anything, that the events of this week has made it worse.
Exactly.
Because
So
there are people like Forte who have gone from I'm getting the Final Shape, it's the last thing I'm buying for this, to I'm not getting it anymore. And there are people who are refunding pre-orders they've already made. So it's actually, yeah, it's worse now than it was before, and they have less people to try to turn that around with. So
right, and the people, and guess what? The people that were the ones that would be like, okay, I'm gonna talk to the team. I got a meeting with the team. The people that would be the stewards of talking to the community, that bridge between the community and the developer, those people aren't there no more. Those people are gone. So who do we have as a community to voice our opinions to that's actually truly listening to us? The fact that they put out that message saying, what Cosmo said, he was like, you just guys, when they kept talking about it, he said, you guys don't understand how much these people were advocating for you guys on the back end and those people aren't here anymore. Trust me, I definitely knew that was the case, but those people aren't there now. And who's really going to be the ones that's going to listen to the things we got to say when it comes to the issues we have with the game? I just don't think that that's just a whole nother set of issues I feel like it's going to be on the game, because now the developers are going to be pressing to know that this game has to be not a 10 out of 10, it's got to be an 11 out of 10. And there's no way that I feel like they're going to be able to live up to that when this game is supposed to release in February and they only pushed it back 4 months. I could be wrong, but there's a really good chance that we're not wrong. And that game's just going to be probably a pretty decent ending to the series, but the way that they're trying to talk it up is not going to be able to live up to that.
I mean, out of the 100 people they fired, who from the narrative team did they let go? Is what like I don't even know how they think they're going to make that expansion that brings everybody back, that gets that gets good sales and makes up for that 45% decline. I don't know how they think they're going to do that when they got rid of 100 plus people, dude. People that people know, people that people like and interact with. And not only that, it's like, what are they really expecting when employee morale is in the fucking mud? Employee morale's in the mud and your player base doesn't trust you anymore. So how do you think this is actually going to go for real? You're right, Nautical. The pressure that's on the people who are the quote unquote right people, the people who are still there, is astronomical. And I'm gonna say this: I know it's hard right now. There are layoffs going on all over the tech industry. It's difficult to find a job and maintain it. But I'm saying it. I think that if you're someone who works at Bungie and works on Destiny 2, you should be looking for another job. You should be looking for another job because it's only going to get worse from here, in my opinion. And I think more layoffs are coming. Personally.
Yeah, just forget about those invested shares. You're likely not going to be able to recover the full value of them anyway, because we saw what happened to the people who got laid off this week who had shares. They didn't get the full value. I agree with Luca. They may be dealing with more layoffs, especially if the final shape disappoints critically and does even worse commercially. Yeah, I wouldn't be trying to stick around after that.
Right. I agree. Well, I love you guys. I just wanted to come in here and say that piece. I thank you for the platform, Luca.
Of course, we appreciate it, man.
I will see you guys I can't wait for the 14th or the 15th. Let's go.
Oh yeah, it'll have to be the 15th because I have a
doctor's appointment the 14th. Yeah, that's fine. So. All right, I'll be in the chat listening, but I got to get back to work. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace. Yeah. So, all right. So, okay. Bungie said that CEO Pete Parsons and some other executives previously forfeited annual bonuses before the layoffs. Okay. I'm not hearing that they lessened some of their current pay. How much do executives make?
Who knows? And we also don't know who all these executives are either. They make sure to stay out of the public eye because they're the ones making all the unfavorable and unpopular decisions. Yeah, they did not forfeit their pay. They just forfeited bonuses.
Hey, Luca, I just had a thought. Didn't Sony pay an extra amount of money to retain talent, yet they got rid of talent?
So like 1.3 billion, I think.
I guess it wasn't enough, man.
I mean, unless they just finessed.
What you're saying?
Paul Tassi is reporting that the money that Sony paid Bungie for employee retention has already been used up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So there you go.
There we go. So much for that.
I mean, it wasn't enough at the end of the day, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. All right. So internally, no one is blaming Sony for this, even management. Some employees were told that if Sony buyout did not happen, that with current Destiny 2 performance, the studio itself would have been in jeopardy if they were still independent. All right, cannot be fully confirmed among every employee, but at least to some, Destiny 2 director Joe Blackburn is not really considered to be one of the corporate culprits here for how things went down. Now, okay, that's another thing that doesn't make any sense. So they built this expensive ass new fucking building for who? For what employees? The what employees was it built
The
for?
right people, Luca.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
The right people. They got
right,
rid of all the wrong people.
So it says it would likely not have saved jobs given the context of when it was drafted and when the work started. I'm just like, they could have used that money for that building, you know? But I don't build buildings, so perhaps I'm just speaking. Okay, let's see here. Bungie shares, which then went to Sony. Okay. There's nothing left in that pot to avoid layoffs, which wasn't what it was meant for this late in transition. The trend line of spending on the game over time made the current year's revenue estimates somewhat logical. So, yes, the 45% miss is important and was not necessarily some wildly inflated projection, however nearsighted it ended up being. There's been a real damaging drop post Lightfall in terms of player engagement and spending. Lightfall sold very well. Employees are extremely angry with leadership now, as they should be, and I've often communicated that publicly in meetings. Bets were made that did not pay off, but those who made them remain in the company, a fact lost on no one. Ooh, I wonder
And
what that
as
means.
it always turns out to be, the people who take all the risk don't deal with any of the consequences of their bad choices.
Thank you, Blue Moon. What's up, Troyski? Yeah, no, that's typically how it goes, dude. Let's see here. They put out a statement that they respect the people they fired, but I don't know, finding out you're laid off because your key doesn't work is pretty disrespectful. That's facts, my boy. That's fucking facts. It's bullshit. Like I said, I understand why they did it, but it's still like on a human level, it's fucked up, man. The final ship delay was known by some a couple months ago, but is happening late enough where there cannot be a 30th anniversary size drop to split the season. As that took around 8 months to build, there will be something in a season 23 gap, though no specifics. They want the final shape not just to be as good as Forsaken or The Taken King, but better. Hence the good, not great feedback that will be polished during a delay. It needs to be the best, and it's viewed as the key to turning things around. Final Shape campaign and features are reportedly quite solid, even in its current state, ahead of planned future work, but they want to go even further, and there is some concern about crunch to make that happen, even with a delay. Oh, they're definitely crunching, especially losing part of their workforce. Oh, they're crunching. Y'all gonna be crunching, bro. So, part of the new PvP strike team was impacted by layoffs, but significant progress has been made on the map pack already and should not be canceled. Have heard player security teams were hit heavily as well.
Oh, cheaters love that.
Yeah.
They're like, yes.
All right. So there have been many meetings about microtransactions where many devs want to reduce them, but they were always given a reply that they were necessary given how expensive Destiny is to operate. And complaints about the new ones don't always reflect reality. Event cards may seem lame, but they sell well, for instance. And you'd be surprised how many people are still buying the oldest expansion that we always say should be free by now. The ultimate goal is very much for Bungie to be a multi-IP studio of multiple games and revenue streams, but even if Marathon is a success, there are likely not plans for some huge mass migration from the Destiny team to the Marathon team, abandoning the franchise. All right. So, listen, things are looking pretty spooky over in Destinyville, over in Bungieville. Good luck to them, honestly speaking. It's always awful when people lose their jobs, but it's like Singer said earlier, a bunch of people canceled their pre-order for Final Shape, dude. Which makes sense given the delay. That makes sense. That happens with delays, right? People tend to cancel their stuff until later.
Oh no, the reasons they cancelled it was obviously because when the news came out, and a lot of people didn't pre-order it anyway, just because no one trusts. The majority of the player base don't trust Bungie no more. Like they put out all this grandiose, like they want it to be better than the Taken King. But it's like the Taken King was a requirement. If Taken King didn't happen, we wouldn't have a Destiny 2. You are not going to pull off another Taken King because the Taken King was peak. But I don't think they could do it. Even bringing Cade back, because they go, oh, people miss Cade. Yeah, let's bring Cade back. I just don't think they're gonna hit it.
Yeah.
I just don't think they got another one in them, another Taken King.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about other things. Slumma, would you like to talk about your Alan Wake 2 impressions? I'll try not to fall asleep.
Sure. I'm trying not to fall asleep just even thinking about it. So look, I told some people, you know, on DPS as well as out off of DPS that I would either be doing, you know, more of my Alan Wake 2 playthrough either yesterday or today, and so far as you can see, I have not. And I thought about doing it tonight after Scumcast, and I'm just fam. I'm just I'm tired. I'm tired, and I'm too tired to play a game that requires me to let's see, kind of tough it out until things get exciting, and that's been my experience with it. I've played Alan Wake's Chapter 1, which is about an hour and a half, and look, I know there are people who are loving it. And I'm not dismissing their opinions, but this is my opinion. It's boring. I have been bored. And I remember playing Alan Wake 1. And I would suggest if you want to play this, you may want to, at the very least, look up a YouTube video that kind of breaks down Alan Wake 1. I will also recommend either playing Control or looking up something that can break down Control for you, as well as the AWE expansion in Control that features Alan Wake. All that said, I've played the first chapter. It is very slow. It looks like technical wise, it's a technical masterpiece. And the Northlight game engine that Remedy has is one of the best in the industry, and they are definitely in their bag and showing it off in this game. It's pretty demanding on hardware as well, if you haven't figured that out yet already. But in an hour and a half, I shot 2 bullets at one enemy, and that's all I did. The rest of the time, I spent probably the majority of it in like this mind vault, so to speak. So there's 2 characters. There's Alan Wake, and there is a new character, Saga Anderson. She's an FBI agent, and she's investigating this ritual kind of murder that occurs. You start the game out playing as a naked fat guy. And
What?
I didn't appreciate that at all, because it was Flab was all over the place. It was definitely not where my eyes were looking for. Anyway, so yeah, and then you're investigating this naked fat guy's murder. Light spoilers here. This is like the very first moments of the game, but the way Saga goes about investigating is that she kind of goes into this mind vault, and then she'll be in this room, and she'll be taking all of the evidence that she has and kind of putting it on the wall and organizing things. And so whenever you get new evidence by investigating around the scene of the crime, you would go back into the mind vault and then get things more organized until she kind of comes to her conclusions. And I'm just like, Chapter 1 was really boring for me. It got exciting a little bit near the end of it, but it's just, I had to put a pin in it and move on after that. Now, there have been people who have been like, this game's amazing. It's doing things I've never seen before. And I'm just like, I have been asking this question to everyone who's beaten the game and everyone who is shouting his praises. Which chapter does that stuff start happening? And I'm not joking. I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm not trying to make fun of their opinions. I'm dead ass serious. Which chapter does it get good? Which chapter does all the stuff that you keep saying is happening happens? Because so far, from what I played in Chapter 1, None of that happened. And no one has given me a chapter. So I don't know. So eventually I will do chapter 2 at the very least. But so far, kind of boring to me.
I mean, I feel like if it's boring to you, it's probably not going to pick up for you. I don't think there's a lot
Probably
of
not.
like gameplay in the sense that you would enjoy in the game based on what I've seen from a couple of reviews.
Yeah. But here's the word. It's like, I enjoy Disco Elysium. Like, I don't like, a game doesn't have to have like, because like people try to come at me on Twitter like, oh, it's not a first person shooter, dude. And I'm just like, well, I don't just like first person shooters, dickhead. You know, like I don't. That's not the only kind of games I play. I play RPGs. I play slow paced games. I'll play Telltale games. Like, I'll play a whole bunch of different kinds of games and genres. It's not just shooters. But when I play those other games, I like a quicker pace to the story, a little bit. It's a different tempo, because like I said this, and I wasn't even kidding when I said it in my lunchtime with slow mo. Telltale's The Expanse that came out this year had more action in the first episode than I played in the first chapter of Alan Wake, and I've thoroughly enjoyed The Expanse. Disco Elysium keeps things like, Disco Elysium starts with you having amnesia, not knowing who you are, then finding out you're investigating a murder of a dead body that's hanging right outside on a tree, hanging off a tree right outside your hotel. And all of this stuff starts happening all at once. You don't shoot your gun, you're not killing people, but it's all very exciting and all very quickly. And it keeps you engaged, the suspense of that moment, of these moments of not knowing what's going on, as well as having some little kid throwing rocks at the dead body and cussing you out, all entertaining. I was not entertained with Alan Wake. And I am trying to get people to understand that, to not jump to the conclusions based off of limited information, that if someone criticizes a game's pace and its story from the time that the experience they have with it, that doesn't mean that they don't like stories, they don't like reading things in games, or they don't like anything that isn't them killing everything that walks. Like, that's not it. Some people like you have to actually break down what the issues are and why they are what they are. And so I say all that to say, that's my experience with it. It's got very good reviews. There are people who will sing its praises. And if you respect those people's opinions, then go try the game out for yourself. But for me, I'm probably not going to finish this. Now, Quantum Break, enjoyed it, even though most people can't stand it. Control, loved Control. Had a great time with it. So I like Remedy. This one just ain't really it for me.
Yeah, that's fair, man. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
personally, I don't really have any interest in playing it myself. But I think I'll probably watch the Rad Brad play it. If he played it, I'll just sit and watch him play it for a bit and enjoy myself there if I can. Definitely can't watch it when I'm tired, because I tried watching you play for a little bit and I got bored and I left. So
Yeah. I wish I could have did that. But I was the guy playing it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Singer.
I can't play Alan Wake 2 because you know my principles of what games I don't play. So it's just not for me.
Your principles.
I don't know
Yes.
your principles, actually. All I know is
this
about Square
because it's
Enix, man. That's all I
exclusive
know.
to the Epic Game Store?
No.
Okay.
It looks like a style of game that I would just get bored with real quickly.
Okay. Well,
Like, for example, like when I was playing Horizon, for example, or I played God of War. Purchased God of War. Yeah, not for me.
Think so, Jigga? I don't know, man.
So
I
yeah,
don't know.
Alan Wake 2, Hellblade 2, like these kinds of games are just not for me because I stick me in like a Baldur's Gate and just leave me to my own devices. That's
You're
more kind of my flow.
all right. What's up, Dion? Yeah, I hear you on that. I don't know. I don't know, man. All right, so shout out to John the John, who's been a member for 34 months. Appreciate you, my boy. Saying good evening, everyone. Hope y'all are having a good day. What's your sleeper hit of the year so far? For me, it's Hi-Fi Rush because that's a fun game to play. Man, I don't think I have a sleeper hit because I've not played any fucking games. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
I have one.
What's up, Dave?
I
How you
have
doing,
one.
buddy?
True.
Go ahead.
Mine would be Showgunners. It's a XCOM. It's like a mix of XCOM and the 80s action movie, The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's Showgunners is freaking awesome. It's probably the best XCOM style of game I've seen created that isn't made by Firaxis. And so if you like those kind of games, I think you should give Showgunners a shot.
And for me, it recently came out. Fate Samurai Remnant. Obviously, it's based on the Fate series, and Fate, the games have been hit and miss, not really quality. This time, this is a quality title. It takes everything from the anime that you love, it throws it in there. It's so good. There's so many callbacks to if you watch the actual anime. Like there's so many different characters and everything from all the different timelines and stuff. So definitely I went in skeptical and I'm in love. So yeah, that would be my sleeper hit.
Nice. Okay,
Cool.
that's awesome. Yeah. So I don't have a sleeper hit because, bitch, I've not played any games. Shout out to Dirk, but Gerg was good in my voice, who's been a member for 32 months. Appreciate you saying. I just wanted to pop in and say hi from work. Hello from work, Dirk. How you doing, buddy? Will Xbox enjoy Hellblade 2? I don't know, man. They were definitely talking shit about Hellblade 1 back on when it was on PS4, so I don't know.
Hey, I heard a lot of talk about we don't like walking sims or narrative-based movie games. And I mean, if you play Hellblade 1, you got a lot of walking and talking to yourself for a lot of parts of it, and not a lot of combat. I enjoyed Hellblade 1, but it's interesting seeing different energy for Hellblade 2. When if it's anything like the first game, you're going to get a lot of the same kind of stuff. Hopefully the combat's better, but
but
we haven't seen that. We haven't seen no combat.
We've not seen it extensively, so I started playing Lies of P, guys, so I'm slowly getting back into gaming. Just not much. Okay. Anyway, what's up? Me Puppet saying the
Wait, you said you're gonna play Lies of P?
Yeah, I started playing it.
Oh, okay. Did you beat the first boss yet?
I did.
What are your thoughts on Lies of P so far?
Well, I said it at the beginning of the show that I definitely want to play more, but the controller is hurting my fingers. So I have to find my Elite controller. I don't know where it is. I haven't seen it about 6 months, so I got to find my Elite controller so I can start using it, so I can customize the button so I don't hurt my hand. But I like it so far. I just have to get the guarding down, and once I do, I should be good. But it's the window on that seems it's just different, so I just got to get it down. But I like the mechanics so far.
Oh, cool. I gotta get to it at some point, but I need to beat some games first. That I got kind of in the way.
So let me ask you something. It's gonna betray it's gonna betray who you are as a person.
What?
But will you consider playing Baldur's Gate 3 with me on PlayStation? Because I don't want to play it on PC.
There's crossplay.
There is? Okay, never mind. Wait,
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. They
Wait, hold. Were you talking to Singer? Or are you talking to me with betraying your whatever?
I'm talking to you.
Why would I have a problem playing the game on PlayStation?
Because you're a PC master race, okay? So that's why. All right.
I just beat Spider-Man 2 on
all right,
PlayStation.
but that's because if that game was only okay, if you could play the game on PlayStation or PC at the same day. Same day.
Oh, PC, of course.
Okay.
But,
so anyway, because the last time I brought up playing Baldur's Gate 3, I said I'm gonna get it on PS5, and then you started talking about PC. You're like, well, okay, but the PC version, Luke, and I was just like,
it's better. It's better.
I believe you. I know it is. I know, but I want to play it. I want to be able to. I understand that you can do this, okay, but I don't want to do it like this. But I just want to sit on my bed and play it on my PlayStation without hooking up my PC to my television. Okay, I don't want to do that. All right, guys. Okay, my TV is trash. All right, let me tell you something. My TV is garbage, and I'm never getting a new TV. And here's why: this TV is 55 inches, and I'm 4'11" with zero muscle mass. Okay, I had to carry this TV up. How many flights of stairs is it? I don't know. It was. My house has 1, 2, 3, 4. My house has 4 floors. Okay, so I had to carry it upstairs to my room and then lift it up onto my desk. It was a traumatizing experience. I was on the phone with dealer. I was on the phone with all day, and he told dealer about my experience and said, yeah, Luca lost her fucking mind. She called me cursing out this fucking TV. I'm not doing it again. So I can't switch to a TV that would take my PC better. Okay. So anyway, if there's crossplay, then it's all good.
You could play it on. You could play it on PC though, Luca, and then I could join you as well.
Wait, did you just say it's cross-play?
No, it's crossplay is planned to come in. Larian said you can expect it when the Xbox version releases. No.
So that's December. They already said December 7th was when, or the 6th was when the Xbox version is dropping. So it's another month, Luca.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll come around that time, according to Larian. So because they want crossplay with Xbox, PC, and PlayStation, of course. So I mean, or you could just play on PC, and I could play with you. I don't mind running through Baldur's Gate again. Fantastic game.
It is pretty good. Yeah, maybe I will get it on PC.
Yeah, do it.
It's what you thought I would say, right? So anyway, we'll see how we'll see.
And it's cheaper on PC.
I know it is. Leaky and Lionel up in the chat are like, Luca, sounds like you need a man. I do need a man, actually. Okay. I do need strong men in my life. I have no issues.
Oh boy.
I have no issues being in a woman's role, okay? You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to cook, so there's that, but still.
Oh, you just lost so much.
I know.
you were gathering so much momentum, and then it just dissipated all at once.
I know. But yeah, anyway, we can just move on from that. All right, so let's talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. The first thing I want to say is the game is not, like, people are not enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't seem like it's reviewing well.
The campaign,
yeah, the campaign's only like
it kind of stinks.
3 hours or something.
It's longer than that. I think I got probably just 1 mission left because I've done 4 missions so far. The first one was okay. After that first one, I'm just kind of like, I'm looking at like the map, and I'm like, yo, this looks familiar. I can't place I'm like, is this a war zone? Is this the war zone map? I'm like what is happening here? And the mission structure is just so loose. It's just like what it's not a good campaign. It's probably the worst campaign for Call of Duty I've ever played. I don't know about giving it a 4 out of 10 the way IGN did. I mean, like, that's usually scores reserved for like games that are broken. Like it doesn't work. You can't even complete the thing. Like it's not that bad. But so far I can't like just sit down and just finish it all. But he said, no, there are 14 missions. Who's running through 14 missions in 4 hours? Like that, I don't know. It kind of stinks. So, and I literally just did the week before I did for the first time because I kept putting it off until I was like, oh yeah, maybe I should just go ahead and finish this. The campaign for Modern Warfare 2 that came out last year. Now that campaign's good. It's a really good campaign. Really enjoyed it. And to go from there and then to go to this is like, man, it's like the difference is pretty drastic. Delta says people that play on Recruit they're playing on Recruit or regular. That's why they did 14 missions in 4 hours. It makes sense. Okay. But no, I just like Modern Warfare 2's campaign a lot better. I thought the it's like the characters, the storytelling was better. I like the bad guy with the horrible Southern accent. He was awesome. So far, this the bad guy in Modern Warfare 3 is just so generic, like Eastern European terrorist dude. He's just I forget his name because it's not important. So it's just it's not the campaign's not all that. But as we all know, usually people don't give a crap about the campaign is more of an afterthought to the multiplayer. If the multiplayer hits, then people aren't going to complain too much. But we'll see what happens with the multiplayer next week.
Sweet, man. All right.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. Something weird I've been seeing is like, okay, people have been blaming Xbox for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 not reviewing well, which makes zero fucking sense. But it's like, I guess it was like you were saying earlier, Singer. Can Xbox take a W for Starfield and an L for COD?
That is the conundrum. That is the great paradox right now, because the Xbox had nothing to do with Starfield, therefore they can't claim the W. Okay, but they take the heat for Redfall, even though they had nothing to do with it. And now they take the heat for Modern Warfare. They had nothing to do with it. So if we're saying they can't have the success with Starfield, then they can't have the blame for the failures because it's nothing to do with them, right? Keep the logic across the board. But no, because we're dealing with crazy fanboys, it's whatever narrative fits at the time. So this is,
Yeah, it's funny because it's always like for let's go through the history of it. Bleeding Edge, Xbox fault. Grounded, Xbox fault. Then Grounded got better, and then now it's not Xbox fault. So then Redfall, Xbox's fault. Psychonauts 2, no credit to Xbox. Starfield, depending on how you feel about the game, determines whether Xbox gets credit or not. So it's just like look, you either go all in on one. They either, as soon as they have ownership over the IP and the studio and all that stuff, they get the credit or the blame for all of it, or they get the credit or the blame for none of it until they from pre-production to launch own the game and have everything to do with the entire process. All this picking and choosing just makes you look really biased. Just saying. So
Delta has a great point too. People are always bitching about COD, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Every year. Every year, it's a ton of COD players complaining about COD. This is the worst COD yet. I hear that every year. It just keeps getting worse. I'm not getting it this year. Screw Activision. I'm done. And then like 3 weeks in, what they doing? Playing COD. So they know what's up. You gonna complain, but you're gonna play it. So,
all right. So this is how this is how I view the conundrum. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Xbox takes partial blame for Red. I keep wanting to say Redfall, right? They take partial blame for that, for not checking in with that studio, for not
Yes.
realizing that that studio did not want to make that fucking game and not canceling
Mhm.
it. They take partial blame for that. They can take a partial W for Starfield. That is mostly all Bethesda though. The game selling as well as it did. That's Bethesda. But they're the it's not even an assumption. Xbox is the reason why that game was delayed. Okay, because if Todd had it his way, we would have gotten that shit last year. That shit would have been a buggy mess. I assure you of that. All right.
Mhm. Mhm.
So they can take a partial W for Starfield, and then I can't give them any L for COD because they just officially acquired Activision Blizzard. They had no say, zero say in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. So I don't even understand. I mean, I know why people are doing it, but I don't it doesn't make any sense. You know, it doesn't make any sense to actually do so, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. If you have a different opinion, that's perfectly fine. Yeah.
The thing is that if it was amazing, if Modern Warfare 3's campaign was the best campaign that's come out since 2019's campaign, which was very good, the same people that are saying you can't, not you, Luca, but a lot of the people that are saying they just owned them. How are you giving them, blaming them for this? Would have been like, look what we got, boys. We got a W. And it's just like, even though it's on everything. So it's just like, it's just funny how this stuff breaks. And it's just, I do agree with you. They had zero input on this campaign. Like it literally launched like a few weeks after they acquired this. Like that's not enough time to make any change. It's not like they acquired Activision and the very first thing they did was they told Bobby Kotick, hey, take out 50% of that Modern Warfare 3 campaign. Like if anything, I mean, because this is the content you were going to get regardless. Like this was coming out regardless. If anything, the acquisition of ABK forced them to turn this from a DLC of Modern Warfare 2 to a full-fledged game. I mean, they were going to charge you $70 regardless. Like, come on, it's Activision. But I think they did this so that they could get that one more game they owed Sony for the marketing deal out of the way. And then next year they can go forward with whatever plans that Microsoft has for Call of Duty and ABK overall. So they really just needed to just change the name so that it could be considered a full release, even though look at the trophies / achievements, they all kind of going under, or in some way under Modern Warfare 2. Like this was a DLC, and this was stated by people who have sources on this stuff like a year ago that this was going to be DLC. Like all of a sudden everybody just forgot that. I don't know, but it's funny.
Don't you need to have? Do you need to have Modern Warfare 2 to play this game? No, right?
No.
Right.
But it's when I say it's DLC, is the content of what they were going to give you. It's no different than if they never acquired them. It's no different than what you would have got. This is the same exact content. So
gotcha. So yeah, I mean,
it was always supposed to be an expansion. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's not doing well, but we'll see. We'll see how those sales are. Okay, we'll see how the sales are, and we will revisit the conversation. But
it will sell. It's going to sell.
Yes, it will sell. It will be the number one. Yeah,
the people who are going to buy this overwhelmingly do not care about these conversations that we're having.
Yeah. All right, so let's get Chanheimer topics, and we can go. Oh, we'll do like one more topic after that. We can leave. Okay, we can go lay down. I'm tired and sad. Okay. Me Papa wanted to talk about will Destiny 2 recover or it's done. We discussed that. So shout out to Duck McGook saying, I think the state of PlayStation really does need to be talked about. Okay. I've never seen Sony in this type of position throughout their entire lifespan. They're not showing up to the Tokyo game shows. They've been laying people off left and right, shutting down studios. In every way this new generation has started, they've just made far too many cash grab decisions. Dark, are you still in the chat? Can you give some examples of cash grab decisions? I fear that my lack of involvement in the community has left me ignorant on so many topics. I have no idea what's going on.
I think he's on
He
about the
might be talking-
remasters.
Or he's talking about the increase in price for PS Plus.
That's a good point.
Because they increased the price of PS Plus with no
benefits,
no additional benefits whatsoever. I think that's something that the state of PlayStation is something that we've talked about on this show multiple times. Because we don't have any problems talking about any the issues that we see with these platforms. I've talked about explicitly for me, what was more important to me is the roadmap. And I've always, when I looked at a platform and that I'm supporting with my money, I care about what you're going to have in the future, and I like to feel comfortable in the fact that I'm continuing to give you money because I know of what's coming in the future. And when it comes to PlayStation, all I know that's coming in the future is Wolverine, Helldivers 2, and Helldivers 2 is a part of the live service games they're launching. But outside of Wolverine, they have not announced any other single player content that is the main focus of why people like their first party games. And those high quality single player narrative driven kind of games that really leverage a lot of what Sony is good at with their mocap studios, Sony Pictures, their penchant for that kind of content that no one else outside of maybe Rockstar can really deliver on. Yeah, I like that stuff. But where is that stuff? Because after Spider-Man 2, I don't know when Wolverine's coming out. I'm thinking probably 2 years from now. What else do you have for me on the live service side of things? I don't think you're proven in that area, and you don't even have release dates or release windows for any of this stuff. So this is the worst roadmap I've seen for PlayStation in a very long time. And there's some people who hate to hear that, and as soon as they hear stuff like that, they start coming up with all kinds of excuses. Even though if this was on the Xbox side of things, they'd be saying the exact same thing. But
yeah,
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't like to see that. And I think that this is the reason why a lot of content creators like Colin Moriarty was like, hey, they're gonna do a second showcase. Because in his mind, he just couldn't fathom that the showcase we got earlier this year was all they were going to show us. Because it did not deliver in any way, shape, or form. And you better have another showcase to give us some content that we actually want to play, and a roadmap that we can actually look forward to and be happy with.
It's the thing that I always... Everything circling around Sony is crazy right now. Because I put it this year, and it's like your big games this year, you only had one. Next year, who knows what you got? You guaranteed another Final Fantasy next year. But again, that's relying on Square Enix, which you do a hell of a lot. You did a hell of a lot this year. 2 of your biggest games are from Square. And then you have Spider-Man. So and I know why, because if you think about it, remember when Sean Layden said game development is taking so long now? It's 5 years between development. When was the last time Horizon came out? Last year, right? And God of War?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm remembering correctly. So let's say you're not going to see probably another game from them for another 2 years, right? Assuming they already had a second project in development.
Mm-hmm.
And then Naughty Dog is doing whatever the hell they're doing with Factions 2.
They said, there's rumored the Factions 2 is on ice, not canceled, but paused or whatever. And they said they are working on a single player game. They announced that unofficially, in through social media, but we haven't seen what that looks like. We don't know what stage that one's in, and we don't know when we'll ever get an announcement on it. So, and
the games they showed off at the showcase this year, like Marathon didn't have a date. Half these games, oh yeah, you got Foam Stars. That's right. Yeah, another Square Enix game. we've seen a trend here. But yeah, but it's they need to have a road, and there isn't time for a roadmap because you got the VGAs, and I would imagine you would have like I don't know, Death Stranded 2 and some other like third party exclusives. But where's your first party? And it's weird because they always tell you, and everyone's like, right, I know exactly what's coming next year. But you don't know what's coming next year.
Mm.
I know what's coming to Xbox next year. They made it plain as clear. We're getting some Avowed action. We're getting some Hellblade 2. So it's like, okay, well, we know what's coming next year. We could be happy. But hey, I mean, where's that super secret showcase they said that was going to have like 10 AAA games at? I mean,
It's a good point, man. And then also, it's well, you guys mentioned the upping the price, and then Froggy in the chat was like the removal of the stand and charging $30 for it, charging $50 more for the PS Slim Digital. Yeah, like I it's a good point, Dirk. Very good point. And you guys made some good points as well. So appreciate that topic, man. All right, so shout out to Phil saying not to make light of the situation, but with the recent news of layoffs at Bungie and other Sony studios, is it time for PlayStation Nation to lay off the jokes and criticism towards Halo Infinite and its struggle in producing content when the first party games as a service games on their platform have gone the way of bleeding edge, scalebound, and ... Well, I would say yes, but no one's really talking about Halo Infinite right now. I'm not gonna lie. When's the last time you guys heard anybody talk about Halo Infinite?
Yeah, no, people have been talking about it for the past couple of weeks because they
it's
dropped the
gotten
new
really good.
season, and the
I'm
new
saying
season
talk
is very
about it
good.
like negatively.
Oh, you mean well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
the
that's
ponies.
because there's nothing really negative to talk about Halo Infinite right now. It's great, it plays great, and the people who are playing there are enjoying it. So the PlayStation, fanboys that were talking, negatively about it before don't have any ammo in the gun to really to go in on Halo Infinite right now. So they ain't got nothing to say about it. I would pump the brakes though on saying that we don't want to jump the gun by saying that the games as a service games that live service games that Sony are making are definitely going to disappoint or anything like that. Like going the way of Bleeding Edge. Bleeding Edge was a critical and commercial disappointment, and they stopped making new content for it after a year.
Expeditiously.
Yeah, they haven't even dropped, Sony that is, any real live service games yet for us to be able to say it's Bleeding Edge or it's better or worse or whatever. And yeah, sure, Scalebound got canceled, even though it wasn't really a live service game, but at least I don't think it was. But regardless, like what was it? Deviation Games game got canceled. That studio's probably not going to be alive for much longer.
One of the studios got shuttered, didn't they? Or
well, no, I think you're thinking about either Fire Sprite or Deviation. Both of them are still going. It's just the word about them things aren't looking great.
I thought one of their games got cancelled.
Deviation's game got canceled.
That's the one. Yeah.
So, and Phil says Destruction All Stars. Destruction All Stars was definitely a flop, and I don't even think Sony's really working with that developer anymore. That developer that made Destruction All Stars was supposed to be working on the what's the name of the game that they made a TV show for just recently? With the oh my gosh, like the crazy killer with the ice cream truck. Twisted Metal. They were supposed to be working on it. Yeah, I had to find I couldn't think of the name of it. But no, Twisted Metal. They were supposed to be working on Twisted Metal. They got removed off of Twisted Metal, and someone else is working on it. So Sony's not even working with that developer anymore. But I would say for those who are expecting the PlayStation Nation to keep the same energy, you have to wait until these games launch before you can actually expect that, I guess. And First time you're going to see an opportunity for that to happen is going to be Helldivers 2 in February. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Yeah.
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate you, my boy. And shout out to Ronald saying Sony's live service direction is in shambles. The only game that seems decent is Helldivers 2. Jade Raymond played Jade Raymond played Sony with that mid-looking Gen Z payday game. Not Dogs is in denial of factions. Sony wasted money on Bungie. It's starting to look like Jimbo's retirement, quote unquote, announcement was him saving face. Okay, clearly this shit is cutting off. Hold on, let me go look on my app.
There's no read more? That's
wait,
weird.
hold on. Let me zoom out. Maybe I'm just okay. All right. Sorry. Let me go back to this. Let's see here. Scalebound and Everwild, aka died, quick, got canned, and exist but don't exist. Okay. So do you think Sony can recover from their live service misdirection? Okay, so what do you guys think about live service games at this point?
Live service games, personally, to me, is very much hit and miss. To be successful, there has to be a formula that works. I mean, I don't trust live service games, because if a live service game fails, it dies. It's over. It's done. There is no rebirth, no reborn in fire. Like, look at the MMOs that have come out, right? You look at the amount of MMOs that release. How many are actually relevant outside of World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, and New World? Maybe. I hear New World dropped off, but like a majority of MMOs, people just die because it's just more of the same. You could go play a better MMO. So it's hit and miss with the shooters as well. Like Slow-Mo's game got cancelled.
What are you talking about? What game?
Oh, what was the one you said?
Name me. I guarantee you it's not canceled. Go ahead.
What was it? I can't remember. They said they were closing it down. I can't remember the name right now off the top of my head. I'll have to Google it. But either way,
you talking about the shooter with portals?
Yes.
They didn't cancel the game. The game is still alive. You can play it right now. They said that they were stopping making new content for it so they can make their sequel. Because they're a small studio. Splitgate is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Splitgate was pretty fun.
Yeah, Splitgate is not an unsuccessful live service game. That's a success story for a studio that started with like 15 people and was only on PC at one point, and then got bigger, got some success, expanded to consoles, had so much success that they had to go to Amazon and say, please upgrade our servers because we don't have enough server access to allow everyone in that wants to play our game. That's not a failure. And the only reason they could have kept going with what they were doing, but they wanted to make a sequel. So, I mean, there's still only like 50 people. So at this point, so they doubled their studio. They had enough growth financially. They could double their studio size. And also now they got enough money to actually make a sequel. And they're still maintaining the previous game and keeping it up while doing that. So I would say that's not a failure. Now you want to say something like Rogue Company. Yeah, Rogue Company probably going to end up getting shut down this time. Rogue Company won't be around this time next year.
Well, tell people to come see you in it first, though, because you a beast.
Well, I mean, you know it is. You know it is.
Slow-Mo's all right. But
no, he's really, really good, actually.
I know he's really, really good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just seems to be, if you can't compete with, like, in the shooter space, you have stuff like Fortnite, and then you have Call of Duty Warzone, and then you have obviously Apex Legends found its niche. So they will succeed if they can find their niche. If they come out generic, like the way that, as he said, that Payday looking game came out looking.
That shit was funny as hell. Shout out to him.
It looked super generic. a game like that isn't going to succeed. Because
You
you
know,
could just play a better game that is exactly the same as it.
I did actually want to touch on something else. Let me just pull up his tweets. Oh Lord, what is his at? Okay. Let's see. He said this a couple days ago, so I got to find the tweet. It's something Paris said. Okay, this was, I think it was back on the 30th. Let me go, or maybe the 31st or first. Let me scroll back. It was about how this can no longer be considered a great year in gaming because of all the layoffs. That was him, right? Oh, here we go. I found it.
Yeah, it was him. Yeah.
So let me go ahead and scroll in. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so Paris says 2023 is no longer one of the best years in gaming. It's one of the worst. It's difficult to celebrate this industry when the very people who make it special are treated so poorly. Instead of record profits, we should be seeing record retention. Take care of your people. Now I mean, Paris tends to piss people off like all the time for some reason. So like he got a lot of backlash for this. And this is what I think about his statement, right? I think that it is still a great year for gaming in regards to us, the gamer, for actual games, right? And for certain studios, the success of their games, right? But this is not a good year in the gaming industry because of all the layoffs. It's not a good year in the tech industry in general. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's possible to make a distinction there, personally, I don't think it has to be this all or nothing kind of conversation, this concept of, well, you can't celebrate the industry when people are losing their livelihoods and everything. I'm just like, well, I don't necessarily think that you should 100% connect the games with the industry. Now, hear me out, okay? What I'm saying is, if a game does well because of select studios, but the industry as a whole is trash, I feel like those are two separate things. Personally, what do you guys think?
There are two separate things. I agree with you.
Yeah.
We can separate the fact that like the same developers that are being laid off did excellent work, and that the games this year will be like, if you're ranked how good the quality of games were on a yearly basis, this would be up there with like the top 5 out there or something like that. However you want to rank it. This has been a great year for games in general. You can acknowledge that while also acknowledging that what these developers and publishers are doing with these record profits and with this record critical success is they are prioritizing their year-over-year growth over correctly rewarding the people who allowed them to get that year-over-year growth. And so when you decide I need to lay off all these people because I need to make sure that my shareholders are happy, I mean, that just tells you what these companies are really find more important. It's not you, it's not their employees, it's what the shareholders think. And it's not exclusive to Sony, it's not exclusive to anybody, whether it's a particular platform or a publisher all across this industry. All year long, we've seen them all engage in this, from Epic to Microsoft to Sony to Embracer, Ubisoft, EA. It doesn't matter who it is; they've all done it this year, and because they're all the same. As Luca said earlier in the show, there is no loyalty to anybody. They're loyal to the green that's in their pocket, or the number that's in their bank account or whatever. That's what they're loyal to. They don't care about you. They don't care about the people that make these games, clearly, because they got them crunching and their mental health being in all kinds of disrepair. They just don't care about none of that stuff. They just care about how much money they're making. And so you can acknowledge that while also acknowledging that the games this year that came out this year are so good that you could have a completely separate category for the best snubbed game for Game of the Year. That's how good the games were this year. Now, if you want to have a conversation about how, due to all the layoffs, up to over 6,000 developers laid off total this year throughout the entire industry, that more than likely by 2025 or 2026, we're going to see a massive dip in quality as these developers are trying to replace veteran developers with cheaper, newer developers who do not have the same skill sets and the same experience, and will likely end up having more delays and end up having even worse quality games even after those delays. We can have that conversation, but that's got nothing to do with 2023.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, so that's how I felt about it. Like I said, and then BG is so funny, but BG was talking about the positivity merchants. I think that's what he said, right? People who are like that toxic positivity. But I think something can also be said about being negative all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's two extremes. I just think that at the end of the day, you should just be mindful of who you're listening to, I guess. You know, form your own opinions. Of course, like get different perspectives if that's your prerogative. But, you know, at the end of the day, what you think is what matters. And I don't think you should feel guilty about enjoying the games that came out this year. I think you can express empathy for the people who've lost their jobs and still be like, yeah, but the games that came out this year were pretty fucking awesome. That kind of thing, personally, right?
Right. I also kind of want to push back against the narrative that, like, I don't know where people get the idea that they just like they got like the mutant power of telepathy, and they can tell when
What?
people are really showing empathy or not. You don't have that mutant power. You don't know when people are really showing empathy or not. You are just a weird edgelord that seems to not be able to understand that people may have different opinions than you, and you feel like everyone should show the same level of apathy that you do about everything. And
Yeah.
so when you see people do that, that's just like, okay, that
Yeah, it's
sounds like
like,
a you problem.
yeah, even in the chat saying people be faking about their care about these developers, including gamers. I think there are definitely some people who are fake, especially
True.
those who have like a voice in the industry, right? I
Mhm.
definitely think there are some people who are fake, right? But I
Yeah.
also think that there are people who do feel empathy, and to conflate them and just mash them all together because of feelings that you have about one or two people in the industry, I think it's silly.
Very.
I also think that people should attempt to look outside of themselves. Just because you yourself are apathetic about a certain situation doesn't mean that everyone else is also apathetic and are just pretending to care, because you can't fathom that someone would care about something that you don't care about. It's very arrogant for you to assume that your emotion and your feelings are felt by others, are the end all be all in a conversation, in my opinion, you know? So I definitely
Yeah.
think that just because you don't care about something doesn't mean that other people don't care. It just means that you don't care and you don't understand how other people might care. But again, there are fake people in the industry, 100%. Bitch, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. If I worked in this industry, oh, I would be a fake ass bitch. I would be fake as fuck. Are you kidding me? Like,
Hmm.
absolutely. I would
You
probably
say
be
that now. You always say stuff like this. Oh, I would do this or that. No, you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't.
Listen,
So
you're right.
exactly, you be saying all this stuff and then be the complete opposite. So look, I think that. I mean, yeah, there are people who, when they have a position, certain positions of like power, you see who they really are underneath, and they may do things that they wouldn't have done when they didn't have positions of power. But I think for some people, they are who they are, regardless of where they're at. So I think you're that person, Luca. You are who you are.
I think that maybe I'm dead inside. Do you ever consider that? That maybe
No,
I'm
because you
stretching right
call me
now.
with all kinds of emotion all the time. So yeah,
What?
you're not dead inside.
Oh God, I'm getting tired. Okay, we can just wrap this up. I'm getting tired. But yeah, I think that there are definitely some people. There are definitely some people who are being apathetic and genuinely do not care, and they're being fake as fuck. I listen, bitch. I agree. There are some fake fucks in this community.
Hmm.
100%, especially because okay, let me not go into detail, but there are definitely some fake fucks in this community and in this industry for sure, 100%. But there are people who actually they care. I just think that it's important not to be so pessimistic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember well,
Also,
I got into not I it wasn't like an argument, but I triggered somebody. I triggered this guy because I said it's possible to care about two things at once. Maybe one day you'll recognize that and you realize that and you'll feel it. And he just went off on me. And I was like, I think that you're jaded based on your life experiences, based on the things that you've just told me. And I think you being jaded has clouded your perception on other things at this point. So,
I think
but
a lot of people fall into that category. And it's I think we have, and I'm not going to say the person's name, but you and I discussed this earlier this week. There's people in this community who have been very open, honest, and very giving people who, based upon the actions of others in this community, have become jaded, and kind of, it's sad to see it happen in real time, but it's the way the world works too. So I'm not surprised when I see it. But
you get used to people screwing you over. I
yeah,
hate to say it. Like I was talking to one of my friends about this, and I told her flat out about some things that happened to me, and I'm just like, "Well, it is what it is." And she was just like, "That's awful." I'm just like, "You get used to it. Like you get used to it, and then you learn how to adapt and move forward." And that's just kind of how it is. And it sucks, especially when you put yourself out there and you are an emotional person, right? And you get your feelings hurt. I definitely understand because I am a very emotional person. For anybody new listening, listen, for anyone new listening, um, I am a known gaslighter. Okay, so I'll say something 5 minutes ago and then say something else a few minutes later. You know what I'm saying, right?
mm-hmm.
So like me saying I'm empty and dead inside, that was not true. Okay, I'm a very emotional person. All right, a very
I
emotional.
normally just ignore her when she says stuff like that. There's just like I didn't hear it. I don't know what
Sometimes
she's
I
talking
say
about. So
things just to see how people respond, honestly speaking. Like, I will text, my friend Stone, I'll text her, and I'll say something completely off the rails, right? Insane, just to see what she would say, and she's normally like, "What?" So it's fun. I have a lot of fun with that, so anyway, we can just move on from this. Last topic, and then it's a
it's
fun one.
Stone that keeps falling for that. Okay.
I'm sorry, is Stone
Maybe
what?
I said so. It's Stone that keeps falling for that.
No, she just is confused. She's like, "What are you talking about?"
Just because I want this to be like, don't listen to her. Okay, go ahead.
Actually, I really like this comment by KT the Goat saying, "Problem is everyone's okay. Wait, problem is everything's an industry. It's always some other gain. Even YouTube is driven by engagement and not honesty. That's facts. You right? It's kind of tell who's genuine at this point. I'm gonna say this. KT the Goat.
Be careful.
You're gonna upset some people, but that is a very true statement, and this is how I feel about it. You can tell who is genuine based on whether or not their argument actually makes sense, like logically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
The world is not black and white. We exist in shades of gray. We're humans. We are nuanced creatures, right? So you can tell whether or not someone is genuine based on their stances on topics. If they're always positive or if they're always negative, they're lying. That's how they're either lying and playing the game for engagement, or they're genuinely stupid and don't. There's just I'm knocking on my head. You knock on their head, there's a fucking echo. All right? There's two options there. They're either, I mean, there's more than just two options, but like when it comes to the YouTube engagement thing, if it's like that all or nothing mentality, they're usually just playing it for that engagement, for the money, for the views, or they're actually just really fucking stupid. So
yeah, and the majority of them are not stupid. The majority of them are definitely playing it for the numbers. There are some that are legitimately stupid, but the majority of them are not. They know what they're doing. If no matter what happens, the underlying foundation of where their argument is based upon how it protects a particular platform, then they're probably in it for engagement and not really being honest. And you can tell that by just watching what they say over the course of a number of weeks or months, and watching how for one particular platform, they have a particular brand of logic. But then as soon as it flips to the other platform, they have a different opinion altogether. That tells you right then and there where they're being honest in that. Because it's all about protecting a brand or a platform and not necessarily how consistent am I with my logic.
Exactly. And the thing of it is, they play it like that because their audience wants to hear one thing, because that's what they come there for. They want their values and their emotions and their thoughts to be validated, and they use someone who acts as like a figurehead for their feelings, essentially, right? So it's like that's why you see with certain content creators, when they start going against the grain, they tend to lose support, because they're not it's because they're not saying the things that they want, that people want to hear. It's kind of like how when Mooch and Crap switched from being Xbox guys, their sub base went to Cult and Dealer, you know? And then there are some people like Dealer started being more critical of Xbox over the last couple years, and some of his more extremist fan base, like some of the parts of his fan base left, and they went to other content creators, you know? So it's just like it's that steady migration. People just want to hear their views from a figurehead, essentially, right? That's why certain content creators like me, I'm not a shill, okay? I can't shill. All right? If you know, I can't be a console thought. It pains me. It pains me to pretend to be stupid. I can't do it. So
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, to each their own. We all enjoy
can't do
things.
it. I just there's no way. Y'all would know from me if I'm started running my mouth saying things I didn't believe in. You definitely could hear it. But no, like it also, here's another tactic of the people that are being disingenuous and are about it for engagement. They create labels for literally everything. They have to have a label for anyone that has any kind of opinion about anything. Let's take the gaming community for that sake. In order to put people in a box and dismiss the things they say whether they're valid or not, they labeled them something so they can say, well, you're just a X, and therefore I have no reason to take into account with any kind of critical thinking anything that you're saying. You're just a Xbot. You're just a pony. You're just a pony bot. You're just a neutral. You're just a PCMR cuckhead. You're just whatever. They create these labels because these labels allow them to not use their brain, put people in a box and say, now I can use all of these arguments against you, because even though I don't know if personally you actually believe in any of these things, but because I think you're a pony, I'm now going to say that you only care about these kind of games. You only care about this stuff. You only care about that. And you hate Game Pass and all this other stuff. It's a way to minimize anything that anyone else has to say, and it allows them to protect their own little worldview of how everything is, which is in reality. So
Yeah.
And they push that upon everyone else, and everyone else runs with it because it's least common denominator thinking. And if it's easier to do that than to actually address any of the arguments that come up, or potentially, maybe lose access with some of these platforms, and when you're being honest about the things that they're doing, then here we are. So
what's up, Iman? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, okay, so we can just move on for all that. But yeah, I think Delta and Ryan summed it up essentially. They want to be lied to, just like people in politics. That's facts. All right. They want to hear their views and validate their decisions. That's facts. By the way, my coworker, I am just like slowly finding this out, but he is like hardcore into like the alpha male scene. He listens to those shows.
Oh my God.
He's a Republican and all that stuff, right? Because like we were talking about we were talking about a lot of stuff, right? But despite his views, he's such a nice guy. Like, and he's so respectful towards me despite his general views. So it's interesting how that works. But okay, let's talk about this fun stuff and get out of here. So which are the best fries? McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, Five Guys, Wendy's, or Shake Shack. Now let me tell you
Five Guys.
Five Guys is pretty damn delicious.
Good God. I mean, don't let them fries stay in that bag for too long, because the grease is going to eat through the bag, and it's just going to, like, the bottom of the bag is just going to fall apart eventually. But for pure taste, Five Guys murders all these other fries up there. And I've tasted all of them. Five Guys is the best. Now, if you got like diabetes or something, or whatever you might not want to eat Five Guys. You might want to eat something where the salt intake and the grease is a little less than what it is. But yeah, Five Guys tastes the best out of those six.
All right. So let's see here. Katie Goat says, I don't think the labels are bad. I think living up to them are. Ooh, yeah, I agree with that. So listen, I was being silly. I know it's Chick-fil-A. But yeah, because actually I called it Chick-fil-A because we didn't have a Chick-fil-A near where I was growing up, and I didn't start seeing it until like I think after high school. So when they started showing up, I was like, Chick-fil-A, what the fuck is that? And then it wasn't until later I found out it was Chick-fil-A. So anyway, let me just read. So Iman says Five Guys hands down. Ooh, Gregor says Wendy's fries smell like Play-Doh. I liked how Wendy's fries were before they changed them, personally. Ripper says Arby's. Arby's does have some good fries. Phil says McDonald's. Yeah, I agree. Ehead says McDonald's or Five Guys. Delta says Five Guys Cajun fries, please and thank you. Iman says McDonald's fries used to be good, not anymore. Yeah, it's true. Need a triple heart bypass surgery for Five Guys. It's true. Let's see here. So yeah, I've you know what's okay, let's narrow it down a little bit. I'm cutting Wendy's out completely because I just don't like their fries personally, right? I'm cutting them out completely, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm probably gonna cut Burger King out as well. All right.
Yeah, Burger King fries ain't good.
They're not
from what
good,
I
man.
recall. Yeah, Wendy's. I don't even can't remember what Wendy's fries taste like.
They changed
honestly.
them, dude. So
Yeah.
Shake Shack is like one of those rare, I have not had Shake Shack in a very long time. But go ahead.
I was gonna say Chick-fil-A is the second best to me. I think Chick-fil-A's those I forgot what they call it, right? It's not really fries. They call it like I don't know. I can't remember what they call it, but it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say Five Guys definitely. They have the best fries. Five Guys for sure. I really do still like McDonald's fries, especially when you dip them in like vanilla ice cream. Chick-fil-A, Shake Shack, Wendy's, and the Burger King, because I would eat Wendy's fries before Burger King's fries personally. So Five Guys at the top though for sure, because that shit is fucking delicious.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been years since I've had Five Guys. It's been years since I had Wendy's like maybe 2-3 months ago.
Look, Five Guys is expensive. I
It is,
mean,
yeah.
you go in there, you're just like, am I really going to spend this much for this? It's a
treat,
lot,
man.
yo. Yeah. One, I don't think it's a place. I don't think any fast food place is a place you should go to often. But if you're gonna go to fast food, go to the higher quality ones, because
That's right. Like I've made it my mission to start eating healthier, or I've been eating healthier, right? And personally, when I do have some unhealthy food, I damn sure am not having something from a fast food joint that's like the basic shit, If I'm gonna have something unhealthy, that shit better be fucking delicious. Okay? I had some deep dish pizza today, and guess what it was? Fucking delicious. I waited all week to eat that shit, man. I was so excited. From last week, I said, next week, I'm gonna eat a deep dish pizza. And that's what I fucking did. Okay, anyway, we can just leave. Okay, so shout out to Damien, Stardust, Outlaw, Mr. Dolo, DQs, Tevin, Lionel, J Bari, Ronald, Phil, Dealer, Starchild Swag, MJ, Mike, Iman, Dirk, King Metrochan, Meat Puppet, Scroat, John the Don, Smokes, Lord Jorenza, Risk It, Stone, Starbuck, Kenny, DC, Big Daddy, Smitty, El Huayto, Sub Negro, Jazzy, Dominic, Sir Duck, Sycamore, Zion, Danelle Brisky, Corey, Light Stripe, RK, Papitio, Gaming Forte, Jet, Envy, and Slow-Mo for being members of the channel. I do appreciate you guys so much. Please engage with the community tab if you guys want to submit a topic for the show for next week. Lord have mercy, what is that shit called? Me asking what would you guys like us to discuss usually goes up the day of or the day before. So, submit topics for the show so we can have things to talk about, babes. Okay, so anyway, Singer, thank you he's muted, but Singer, why is his name Fuck Bungie? I just noticed that. Singer, thank you so much for being here.
Like that the whole time.
I'm not even noticed. No, Gregor, no. Okay. And yes, I work out at least 4 days a week. So, okay, anyway, thank you so much for being on, Singer. You're the best. I really love having you on. I love hearing your perspective and your thoughts on everything. So, thank you.
No problem, Luca. Anytime. I love coming on. It is a fantastic time, especially with Slow-Mo and his weak knees. But you can.
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna piss in your tea tomorrow. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
What? Anyway, yeah, you can find me everywhere, Desinger, and you can find me not drinking tea tomorrow.
All right, and Slow-Mo, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you coming through and offering your perspective on everything. You always are aware of things that I am not, because I do not be paying attention to shit. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. My head is in the clouds at this point, so I always appreciate hearing your perspective on things. Huh?
So good for you.
Oh my god, thank you. I always appreciate hearing your perspective on things. So tell people where you're gonna be at.
You can find me on my channel, Slow-Mo Backslap. Last Thursday we had a great show on DPS podcast. We had Everborn Saga, doing his whole propaganda for Sonic the Hedgehog during the show. It was pretty awesome. We had a good time. Check us next Thursday on the DPS channel and Gaming Forte channel for the show. I will be doing Alan Wake 2 live stream, hopefully tomorrow if I have the energy. I need to get an IV of Red Bull directly to my veins to kind of keep me awake for it. At least I hope that's all I need. Who knows? But yeah, I'm gonna play that pretty soon. So come check that out and enjoy your games. Have a good weekend.
All right. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Shout out to everyone who listens later. Shout out to everyone who's hung out in the chat with us. Shout out to all my channel members support. Hey guys, whoa, bitch, slow down. Slow down. Shout out to all my channel members and the support. I really do appreciate you guys supporting me in this way. I appreciate you guys coming through to hang out with us. Thank you so much. You guys are the reason that I am still here as in this community, because let me tell you. Anyway, love you guys. Bye. Oh, and also free Palestine, baby.